Hello, and welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Linda McNamee, in for Phil Gallagher. We've seen a couple of winter storms so far this year, with at least one dropping a significant volume of snow on the area. This has kept the Department of Public Works busy and has used up some of the town's snow removal budget and its salt shed materials. For an update on where the DPW stands, Robert Paris went to speak to the director. He has this report.
It's another year of winter here in New England, which brings us something no one enjoys dealing with: snow. Last week I went down to see DPW Director John Sanchez to catch up on what he and his team have been doing to prepare for severe snowstorms.
Typically what we do to prepare for any storm, we want to make sure that we have all the materials that we need. And basically we have three very basic materials. One is fuel for the trucks, and then we have enough salt, and then we have enough liquid chemical. So, and we keep a constant look at those three items. So, and just before the storm, we try to be full on all of them. So, our equipment will get filled up, the trucks will fill up. We know we have materials in the salt shed. We know we have enough liquid material to mix with our salt, and that's how we prep for it. And then as the storm comes in, depending on the type of storm, that's how we apply materials.
I asked Director Sanchez how the department is managing the accumulating snowfall on the department's annual budget for snow removal.
Yeah, so typically the town spends about $700,000 a year. Of course, some years we don't spend any if there's no snow. Some years we spend more, but we tend to be about $700,000. And with that, the town has like 8 events that we have to plow. This is from December all the way through March or April, and it's about we probably receive about 60 inches of snow during an average year. So so far this year, without counting yesterday, we were at about 30 inches of snow in just those 4 events that we've had since December, and we're about halfway through that $700,000 mark as far as expenses that we had so far.
On the brighter side, the DPW is happy to announce their brand new salt shed is up and ready.
Yeah, that's been a great addition to our department. In the past, when we had back-to-back events, we had a hard time keeping up with the materials, with the salt and the liquid de-icers that we use. Now with the new salt shed, which by the way, we were literally finishing it up and filling it up with salt at the same time, because it was as late as early December that we were doing this. But with the new salt shed and the new capacity, it has just made it a lot easier to deal with this event.
The shed has given the DPW easier access to allow trucks to collect more salt than before and can hold a much bigger capacity.
Yeah, it boils down just to volume. You know, the old salt shed, we could put about 800 ton max in the salt shed. With the new salt shed, we can fill right now up to about 2,500 ton. It's a 3,000 ton capacity. We don't fill it all the way to the door, to the gate, but it's almost 3 times the capacity that we used to be able to store it in there. So, and that's what gives us that freedom, that we don't have to like really store and think about, okay, what do we do with these materials? Do we use them today, or do we wait for the storm 3 days from now? Now, if we need to, we use it. We know we have it. We don't have to worry too much about it. We're cautious about the way we use the material, so it's not like we abuse the use of it. But it's so much that now we don't have to like ration the material. Sometimes when we needed it in the past, we had to do that, knowing that we were not going to have enough for the next storm.
Rest assured, the DPW is working hard to make sure everyone has a safe winter season.
If we look at the past, we will average about another 4 events coming up in February. So, so I'm expecting that this probably will happen, and that will bring us, again, we're talking about averages here, but that will probably bring us another 20 inches of snow for the month of February. And then even in March, we typically have storms, maybe 1 or 2, that will bring about 10 inches of snow. So if this seems to be a typical year, that will be what we will expect for the end of the season.
From the Town Hall Annex, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Thank you, Robert. On Wednesday evening, Burlington Ways and Means voted to support an article on the January town meeting warrant to use funds to provide town firefighters advanced medical training. As reported on BNews, the Board of Selectmen approved the placement of an article on the warrant that would, if passed, allow the appropriation of $260,000 to train 8 members of the Burlington Fire Department as paramedics. This is part of a multi-year push to change the department's emergency medical status from basic life support, or BLS, to advanced life support, or ALS. Thus far, the transition has been started by hiring firefighter paramedics rather than EMTs. In the past 2 years, the department has welcomed 6 paramedics into its ranks, with another 2 currently in the fire academy and another one about to enter the academy. There are also 3 potential vacancies that could be filled with paramedics in 2018. This training program would give an opportunity to current members to train as paramedics, which could both further their careers and would make them eligible for a stipend that comes with the advanced training. Members of Ways and Means had some questions about the cost of switching to ALS. Many of them wanted to know both about the initial startup costs and the long-term costs that would become part of the annual operating budget for the department. Chief Steve Yetman, Assistant Chief Michael Patterson, and Lieutenant Mark Saya were at the meeting to answer questions. Initial costs, Saya said, would include new equipment for the ambulances. He said there are state requirements that dictate what all ALS ambulances must carry to provide that level of medical service. The biggest ticket item will be new heart monitors. There will also be medications and medical delivery devices, such as IV bags, due to paramedics being able to administer a wider range of medications than EMTs. The long-term costs, Patterson said, are harder to predict at this point. One of the increased costs with ALS is the stipend for paramedics. The exact amount of that stipend is still something that has to be worked out in negotiations with the union, he explained. The fire department members and town administrator John Petrin also explained that the town would save money by not relying on an outside ambulance company for ALS calls. Currently, the town uses Armstrong Ambulance, and when that company responds, they receive roughly 60% of the payments, mostly from insurance companies, for ambulance transports. This works out to be about $300,000 per year, an amount that he said would mostly offset the additional cost of running an ALS service. One big reason is that at the ALS level, the department can provide paramedic service faster than what Armstrong can provide. The average response time from the outside service is 7 minutes after the ALS provider is notified. If the Burlington Fire Department were to provide ALS service, the response time in town would be within 4 minutes. In other fire department news, demolition is about to begin on Fire Station 2 on Terrace Hall Avenue. This has forced the crew there to take up temporary residence off-site. BNews Director Rich Hosford went to check out the situation and has this report.
Burlington's Fire Station 2 on Terrace Hall Ave will soon be coming down. Likely within the next couple of weeks, the building, first built in 1970, will be demolished and work on a new, modern, and much larger building will begin. It is a project long in the making and will help address the department's growing needs on the Middlesex Turnpike side of town.
So it's going to be a 3-bay station. We're going approximately from 4,000 square feet to about 16,000 square feet. So we're going to initially start out of the gate when the construction is done, probably housing 5 guys down here.
But while demolition and construction are underway, the department needs to house its Fire Station 2 crews off-site. Enter the buildings of a former moving company location that the town bought years ago and has been using mostly for storage.
What we have here is actually temporary quarters for the former Station 2 at 114 Terrace Hall Ave. This location is 10 Great Meadow Road. It is the old Clark and Reed Moving Company. Because of the size of the lot at Terrace Hall Ave and the size of the building we're constructing, we had to get off the property. So we've made temporary arrangements, through the town administration and DPW to actually use a bay here to run our Engine 2 out of. And we obviously have a temporary quarters here. We have a 4-bedroom trailer that we have here. While we're out to bid, we've done the engineering, we've done the design, we're out to bid. Those bids are coming in right now. and we'll award a contract probably within the next month, and then construction will start, but we have to be here while they do that at Terrace Hall Avenue.
To make the old building usable, the department had to clear out some space for a fire engine and set up a makeshift office. They also tried to make the temporary station livable with some lounging areas and some gym equipment, as well as some decorations to create the feel of a fire station. Still, the chief said this is only to get through the construction phase.
It's temporary. Is it ideal? No, it's not ideal. We're not at a hotel. This is temporary quarters. I mean, we're having issues, and we're trying to deal with them as they come up. But it's again, you got to understand that it's a temporary thing. We're going to be here 12 to 15 months. That's the construction period.
The new station, with its capacity to hold more crew and significantly more pieces of apparatus, including the tower truck if necessary, is meant to meet the growing needs on that side of town.
Well, again, back in the day, back in the 70s, I mean, just across the street at the Northwest Park, initially when that opened in the 60s, that was all single-story Class 1 office space. You look at the Northwest Park now, and it's totally changed. It's multi-story buildings, it's supermarkets, it's apartments, it's restaurants. The whole thing has changed in concept. And over time, not just that, but with other development along this corridor, you've got one engine covering this place, and our call volume has increased on this side of town. It's almost a 50-50 split right now.
Finally, that the crew and engine have moved to a new location, Chief Yetman said it won't impact response times during emergencies.
No, it really isn't. We were on one side of the water treatment plant, now we're on the other side of the water treatment plant, roughly about 2,000 feet. So it's really not that significant in response times. We're generally in the same location pretty much. So no, it has no bearing really.
At the temporary Fire Station 2 on Great Meadow Road, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
Thank you, Rich. An Italian-style cafe that serves, among other things, breakfast all day is set to open. According to the Burlington Mall, Cafe Nero will open on Sunday, January 21st in a 2,510 square foot location on the first floor of the mall. According to its business, Cafe Nero is modeled after traditional Italian cafes wherein they specialize in high-quality coffee and freshly made pastries served to their customers in a relaxing atmosphere. Cafe Nero will operate during breakfast, lunch, and dinner hours with seating for 65 patrons. The project design uses European concepts such as a veranda as the main entrance that is the means to create a simulated street. According to its website, Cafe Nero has locations throughout the Boston area, the closest to Burlington being its Reading Cafe. It serves a variety of breakfast items, including croissants, croissant sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches, oatmeal, and fruit options. For lunch, it has sandwiches and salads. It also serves a variety of pastries, muffins, and cakes. There are a variety of specialty drinks and coffees. Cafe Nero says it prides itself on providing fair trade coffee. A new program to fight the opioid epidemic and help those fighting addiction spearheaded by the Burlington Police Department is showing positive results, a release from the department states. Just 2 months after enhancing its drug recovery efforts through its police-assisted addiction and recovery initiative, AmeriCorps unit, the Burlington Police Department is already reporting meaningful results. According to police, since Program Coordinator Margie Taylor and Recovery Coach Jackie Tailabji, 2 AmeriCorps volunteers, joined the Burlington Police Department last fall, they have reached more than 53 individuals suffering from substance use disorder or their family members and linked each one with critical resources. They've also placed an emphasis on supporting the loved ones of those battling addiction to ensure they have the help they need to overcome the challenges they face as a result of their family members' drug use. Together, Taylor and Tabayi comprise Burlington's PAARI, AmeriCorps unit, which works closely with Burlington Police Officer Robert Aloisi to combat substance abuse disorders and the current nationwide opioid crisis on a local level. Police say the pair's early success with the program is due in large part to the strong partnership they have formed with the police department as well as the broad support of the community at large and organizations that are committed to helping them accomplish their mission. Several organizations have become part of the recovery team's efforts, including the Burlington Fire Department, Burlington Overcoming Addiction, the Board of Selectmen, Council on Aging, Rotary Club, Burlington Schools, Learn to Cope, Leahy Health, and the Town Administrator's Office. The recovery team has directed 8 people into treatment, though their work does not end when a person enters a recovery program. The goal, they said, is to be a support system for the person pursuing treatment throughout their entire continuum of care. One of Burlington's town meeting precincts is underrepresented. According to a notice from Town Clerk Amy Warfield, there is a vacancy in Precinct 3. Anyone from that precinct who would like to try and fill the vacancy should contact the other town meeting members of the precinct to have their names placed for nomination. There will then be a meeting of the precinct members to fill the vacancy that will be held Monday, January 22nd at 7 p.m. in the auditorium at Burlington High School prior to the start of the January town meeting session. In the town of Burlington's ongoing effort to accommodate the right to vote guaranteed by the 15th Amendment of the United States Constitution, the town will be making the AutoMARK balloting system available to those with disabilities who vote in Burlington. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak visited with Town Clerk Amy Warfield for more.
If you are satisfied with your selections, press the right arrow key to proceed.
The AutoMARK balloting system provides autonomy to voters who are blind, visually impaired, or have a disability or condition that makes it difficult to traditionally mark a ballot.
Well, we have the AutoMARK machine here, which is our machine for people with disabilities, whether visual or motor coordination. And what they can do is actually bring a ballot in during the election. They bring their ballot over to this machine, and it will assist them in voting. The benefit is they can actually vote independently. They don't need somebody to help them mark their ballot or anything like that.
Next contested. Propositions. You have selected. Yes.
The process here is that they would go pick up their ballot, bring it over to the machine, and they put it into the machine. And then the machine starts to read for them what the different offices in the election are. And so we feed it in, and then it will start to display for the voter
Official ballot. You are voting ballot style.
what are the options that they have for voting. And it's very simple, kind of self-explanatory. It walks them through the whole process so they can advance on through. And our first office or first thing I'm voting on is what kind of car I would like. And so maybe I'd like a Jaguar.
Best automobile. You have selected Jaguar. You have now fully voted this contest. Press the right arrow key to continue to the next screen.
And then it shows me that I need to move to the next item. The next item on ours was voting for a vocal artist. And so maybe I like Barry White and Billie Holiday.
You have selected Billie Holiday.
As you notice, in this particular instance, it's allowing me in this office to vote for two things. If I try to vote for another one,
you have attempted to vote for a greater number of candidates than are permitted in this contest.
It will warn me that I've made a mistake and I need to go back. I can move on through it.
Next contest. Best ice cream flavor.
Well, I want strawberry, or maybe I don't want strawberry. I want to type in something so I can actually do a write-in ballot here. And I might add in mint chip. So just like anyone who's even writing on their ballot traditionally, they get those same options here.
You have selected M-I-N-T.
And then what it does is it comes up with a summary for what my votes were.
This is the summary screen. Use the up and down arrow keys.
So the person always gets the chance to be able to make sure that what they want marked is marked correctly, so their vote is what they want.
If you are satisfied with your selections, press the right arrow key to proceed.
I can hit next, and it will allow me to mark the ballot. So the machine now goes through a process where it takes the votes that I made.
Your ballot is now being processed.
And then it comes out, the ballot is marked with what my choices were, and I would take this to the reading machine, just like all the other voters, read it in there, and my votes are then counted. There is a headset that comes with it. We always have this here. A lot of times blind people may bring their own headset as well, and all it needs is a simple RJ jack They can plug in headset. You could even, if you wanted to, put in speakers, if you wanted it. But again, this gives the person the privacy that they might want. It's a very simple marking machine. It doesn't read ballots. It doesn't count anything. It doesn't keep any information stored here. It's just marking my ballots.
From the town clerk's office at the Burlington Town Hall, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tad. Burlington's flagship charity organization is once again inviting members of the public to enjoy an evening of wine and entertainment to help it fund its work, including the Burlington Food Pantry. People Helping People announced that Bob Murray, owner of the Cafe Escadrille, will be hosting the 7th annual wine tasting and charity auction, with all proceeds going to support the organization. The wine tasting and charity auction will be held at the Cafe Escadrille on Sunday, February 25th from 2 to 5 p.m. There will be wine tasting, gourmet appetizers, live auctions, and silent auctions. Tickets are $50 each. The charity auction will be performed by auctioneer Steve Diorio, who promises to be entertaining and with lots of prizes to bid on. Items include meals at many local Burlington restaurants, 2 round-trip tickets on Southwest Airlines, an ultimate Fenway experience package that includes 4 tickets to a game, a tour of the park, and a drink with a former Red Sox player. People Helping People is the umbrella organization for the Burlington Food Pantry, the Holiday Program in Wish Tree, and the Covenant for Basic Needs. These 3 nonprofits and volunteer-supported organizations are striving to meet the basic necessities of Burlington residents who have been hit hardest by the economic downturn. In 2017, the food pantry distributed over 176,000 pounds of food to families in Burlington. This past December, the Wish Tree processed over 2,000 gifts for children. In November, over 180 families in town were provided the fixings for Thanksgiving dinners. Tickets can be purchased through Janet Sullivan Fitzgerald by calling 781-244-9519. We go now to BNews meteorologist Peter Brown in our weather center for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at the weather for the next 7 days. I hope you all enjoyed that really nice warm spell that we had last weekend, and of course, we were very lucky. We actually dodged a bullet in terms of the snow we had a few days ago, only a couple of inches, and that's going to pleasantly melt away as when we get into the 7-day forecast in a little bit. It's going to be really nice going into this weekend, but of course, starting out our period on Friday, we're going to see temperatures in the lower to mid-30s, so average for this time of the year, so nothing incredible, nothing too cold, nothing too warm yet. And as we get towards the end of the period, look at this. We're getting into the 3rd week, almost the last week of January. Winter is actually really flying by. We start to see temperatures again in the mid to upper 30s, and temperatures are going to be maybe a little bit cooler than that when we get towards the end of the period. Nothing drastic like we had a couple of weeks ago. But of course, the best thing is you can definitely notice how much longer the days are getting now, and that's definitely a sign that we are marching on towards spring, and hopefully that'll be here sooner than later. That's for certain. Now, as we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. And really, there's not going to be much going on, which is a nice change of pace. No big storms on the way, nothing really too messy to have to worry about. We may see a storm coming through, maybe a little bit of a weaker storm coming through on the maybe Sunday to Monday time frame. If you're going to the Patriots game on Sunday, you should be fine. Going into, again, maybe late Sunday, then getting to Monday, and maybe Tuesday is when we might be seeing this next low pressure center moving through. Now, this system isn't going to be too strong. It may bring the chance of maybe some fairly moderate rain to the Burlington area here and the rest of southern New England. As we get to the end of Tuesday, heading into Wednesday, the latter portion of our period, we are going to see, unfortunately, another cold front come through with this chilly high up in central Canada moving down. And that could change some of that rain that we get Tuesday night, maybe into a little bit of light mixed precipitation and some snow. But again, we're not looking at anything in terms of high accumulations, anything like that. So it looks like we're in pretty good shape going forth. And of course, you know, we're getting to the end of January, and even though we've had that big blizzard and everything, we're actually kind of on track for a normal winter. Nothing too crazy, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for the foreseeable future. Now, as we go ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what the temps are going to be looking like for the next about 6 to 10 days. Now, according to the Climate Prediction Center, looking at this map, and be saying up here in our area, here in Burlington, the rest of southern New England, looks like we're expecting above average temperatures and a pretty good chance at that. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. Not so certain about how that's really going to work out, especially as we get towards the end of the period where we might see that chilly cold front come through with temperatures, again, maybe getting to only up into the 20s during the day. But we'll keep an eye on this. This is actually good news going ahead. We've had so much cold weather that it'll be really nice to see some even slightly above average temperatures. And as we go ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about some of those really nice temperatures that will be coming up for your weekend. Again, starting out on Friday, we're going to see fair skies, temperatures average, but look at this. Saturday and Sunday, nothing but maybe some mostly sunny skies, maybe a few clouds here and there. Again, if you go into the Pats game on Sunday, looks like it's going to be a very, very nice day for mid-January. Temperatures in the low to mid-40s, that's for sure. So that's going to be great to feel out there. Now, as we get into Monday, we're going to see maybe a little bit of cooler air trying to sneak in as we see this next system move into our area. Temperatures, again, only about around 40 or so, but definitely warm enough to keep it all rain here in the Burlington area. And then as we get into Tuesday, we're going to see probably an early morning high up into the upper 40s before we see a cold front come through our area. And that may, again, change some of our rain to a light period of some mixed precip or maybe a little bit of snow in there. Again, nothing to worry about in terms of accumulations. And look at this, Wednesday and Thursday, back to reality again for winter. We're going to see temperatures again in the 20s, and actually by Thursday, we may actually see a pretty good shot of polar air coming into here with temperatures only in the low 20s and those morning lows starting out in the single digits. So even though we're going to have some nice weather coming ahead, do have a little bit of cold weather to go, and everyone get out there, enjoy the Pats game, and have a great week.
Hello, I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your community calendar. Do you have an artistic child? On Wednesday, January 24th from 3:30 to 4:15 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having an after-school story time and craft. They will be telling snowman stories, and you will get to create your own marshmallow snowman. The event is for kids in grades K through 3. For more information about the event, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. Chili today, hot tamale. On Saturday, January 27th, the American Legion in Burlington will be hosting the 3rd annual Veterans Chili Cook-Off from 1 to 4 p.m. Do you have what it takes to make chili? Come by and show the judges how chili is done. If you don't want to make chili, stop by and taste delicious chili made by local contenders. The tasting will end at 3 p.m. for voting. Everyone is welcome. A $15 admission and contestant entry fee. To register, please contact Amy at alrchapter273@gmail.com. Come meet a local professor who wrote about U.S. Special Forces after the events of September 11th. On Saturday, January 27th at 1 p.m., the Barnes & Noble in Burlington will be having Professor Brian Williams come by and discuss his book entitled The Last Warlord, The Life and Legend of Dostum, the Afghan warrior who led U.S. Special Forces to topple the Taliban regime. The book tells the spellbinding story of the legendary Afghan warlord Abdul Rashid Dostum, a larger-than-life figure who guided U.S. Special Forces to victory over the Taliban after 9/11. Everyone is welcome. The event is also free. For more information, visit barnesandnoble.com. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your community calendar.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Maddie. The Burlington Red Devils teams are well into the winter season and still fighting hard. For the latest in BHS sports, we go now to BNEWS sports reporter Matt DiMarzio for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, this is Matt DiMarzio with the Sports Report. The basketball season at Burlington High School is getting pretty interesting. Early in the season, it didn't look like Phil Connor's boys team, or Pam McKay's girls team, was going to qualify for the state tournament, never mind making a run at their respective Middlesex League Freedom Division title. Times are changing. In recent action, the boys beat both Stoneham and Watertown to improve to 6-4 overall and instantly become a factor in the hunt for the division title. Boys host Melrose on Friday night at 7 p.m. The girls have won 3 games in a row to improve to 5-4. On Sunday, the Lady Devils beat Waltham in a non-league game. Earlier in the week, the girls beat Stoneham and Watertown. If you haven't seen either team play, make the trip to the high school. It's fun basketball to watch. The boys' hockey team suffered its first loss of the year last Saturday against Hingham and also fell to St. John's Prep on Monday, dropping the Red Devils to 9-2 overall. The boys are still undefeated in Middlesex League action. Melrose visits the Ice Palace on Saturday at 6 o'clock. The girls' hockey team also hosts Melrose on Saturday at 8 o'clock and needs a win badly. After 9 games, the Lady Devils had a 2-5-2 overall record and need a strong finish to qualify for the state tournament. Thumbs up to the girls' gymnastics team. The Devils opened their season with a close loss to Winchester, but still managed 120 points in the meet. The girls then scored almost 132 points in another tight loss to Wakefield. And that's all for now. I'm Matt DiMarzio, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Matt. One place where there is always a lot happening is the Senior Center. We go now to Council on Aging Director Marge McDonald for the latest senior news.
Hello. Unfortunately, due to Wednesday's storm, we had to postpone both our SCAM presentation with Officer Lynn Reynolds and Detective Anna Marie Brown, sponsored by Wegmans, to February. Our supper with Brightview Concord River has also been postponed to March, so we don't run the risk of making Brightview cancel again. The contractors are working on the ductwork up in the ceiling of the Senior Center and have unexpectedly had to open up the ceiling in the ladies' room. So, unfortunately, our ladies' room has been closed until the ductwork is complete, which may take a few weeks. In the meantime, be prepared if you are coming for activities at the Senior Center that you will have to walk over to the recreation side of the building to use their ladies' room. We will be showing the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding on Monday, January 22nd at 12:30 p.m. Refreshments are served, and it's a wonderful getaway on a cold, dreary January day. We meet in the leisure room, so it's a lot cozier than the Murray Kelly wing. On Tuesday, our 50-plus job seekers networking and support group, sponsored by MCOA, the Mass Council on Aging Association, will take place at 9 a.m. The topic will be on getting noticed on LinkedIn. Karen Halloran will be here on Wednesday the 24th at 1 p.m. with Name That Tune. After the 24th, Karen will be doing Name That Tune once a quarter or every 3 months, as a promotion has her involved with many more communities. We of course wish her good luck, but are also very relieved that she will not be leaving us. So keep an eye out for it in the newsletter going forward. You know, if it's not every month, it will become a hot commodity and more difficult to get a spot. The Life After Loss group will meet at 2 p.m. on Wednesday the 24th. The holidays are over, but that doesn't make it any easier to go forward, especially with more holidays on the horizon. The Leahy-sponsored Aquafit is still going on Thursdays at 1 p.m. at the YMCA in Woburn. Call the COA office for more information. Remember, as the winter blows on, if the Burlington schools are closed, the Senior Center is closed. If the schools are delayed, then the Senior Center doesn't open until 10:30 a.m. All activities that begin before 10:30 a.m. are then canceled. Staff will be in the office answering calls as long as the town offices are open. Make sure, if you come to the Senior Center, that you are checking in, as that is the information I use to send out robocalls, letting you know what's going on. That's all for now. I'm Marge McDonald. Keep checking on your older, frailer neighbors, and I'll see you at the Senior Center.
Thank you, Marge. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo shows some scouts getting an up-close and even hands-on look at some animals. It is from the Burlington Science Center's Wendy Pavlicek and shows a trio of Burlington Cub Scout Pack 555 members holding the center's gecko. The Scout Pack was at the Science Center to learn how it educates children in town and to work towards some badges. Thanks for the photo, Wendy. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Well, that's it for this week's edition of BNEWS Weekly. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you around town. Good night.